Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thorough Newspaper Analysis, which is brought to you by LawSikho. So, today we will be discussing two articles again. Both are from the Hindu today. So, the first article is a do it for India's urban women. So, basically, this is a system which can help to tackle the problem of unemployment in the specifically in the urban areas, and this is a kind of a proposal that has been given by the author. So let's see that what is the proposal about. And the second article is again from the Hindu, which is titled as Investing in India's Youth. So basically, this, as we know, is talking about the youth, and it talks about the skill development and what steps can be taken for effective skill development in the youth to realize the benefits of the demographic dividend that we have in India currently. And thirdly, we have the news and flash column, wherein we'll be discussing the news points that are more important for a prelims exam. So if in case you're also preparing for judicial services examination, you can definitely check out the lot of the courses, which is judiciary test prep course by LawSikho. The link to our course is there in the description box below. And from the landing page, you can also download free study material. Also, the PDF of this discussion is readily available on our Telegram group. The link to the Telegram group as well as the WhatsApp and Facebook groups are also available in the description box. You can definitely join in there. With this, let's see what is the multiple choice question for the day. So as we know that now we cover the multiple choice question regarding the topic that we had discussed a day before. So this MCQ belongs to the content that was discussed yesterday. So definitely you can have a reference to it. The agricultural practice of growing a single crop, plant, or livestock species, variety, or breed in a field or farming system at a time is firstly monoculture or multiple farming, third polyculture farming, or fourth commercial grain farming. So you can write down your answer in the comment section below. So this is the descriptive question for the day. So this will be some from the content that we are discussing today, so that we will be discussing right now in this discussion for the day. Though there has been a significant focus on skill development in India, the employability of skilled manpower has remained a big challenge. Discuss. So the answer must be written within a word limit of maximum 250 to 300 words. With this, let's discuss the first article for the day, which talks about a plan called as Do It for Urban Employment. And basically, that too focuses a lot upon providing employment to the urban women in the area. So the COVID-19 crisis has drawn attention to the insecurities faced by urban poor as they are more exposed to serious contingency. Now let's take an example for all of you who are listening to this news analysis, of all of you who are listening to who are staying into any urban area. So you must have noticed that since the time lockdown was proclaimed in the nation, so a lot of the manual labor, like the house helps and the people, the chefs, etc., who we generally took the assistance from, so they were all discontinued. Their service was discontinued, and many a times the services, like basic services like that of plumber or the tailors, etc., they were all discontinued because of the fear of COVID-19 or the spread of the virus. Now, in such a situation, these people who were many a times skilled and also unskilled had to face a lot of insecurity in terms of job, food, employment, etc., and because they were exposed to more serious contingency. Now, that is why there is a need for better social protection in urban areas, so that just like the other kinds of jobs, like everybody else started working from home, because their nature of jobs were, they were flexible enough and they could contribute in the same fashion. So that is why it is necessary that even these jobs of these labors, be it skilled or unskilled, should be given more security, and that is why they should get better social protection in urban areas. So the current schemes that are working in this direction, firstly, are the universal system of public distribution for the food grains. As we know that till November it was to continue, that free food grains were distributed by the government, and also employment based support systems. But yet there are several steps that are yet to be taken in order to provide this social security what we are talking about. So here, this Do It is a system which has been proposed by the author. Please remember that do it is not a system which has been already taken up by the government or which is a scheme provided by the government. Rather, this is an idea which has been given by the author, though there has been a mention in the article that a few governments or one or two governments of states in the South India or somewhere have started implementing some similar schemes, but still it is not an all India or a pan India scheme. So please remember that we can quote it only as a suggestion till now if it is not brought as a concrete decision. So basically, do it stands for Decentralized Urban Employment and Training. So let's see what actually is do it. So basically, this idea of do it or decentralized urban employment and training depends upon the idea of employment that is very much common and prevalent in various European countries. So wherein there is a use of job stamps. So basically, what happens is that the government will issue job stamps for 1 day of work at minimum wage. So basically these will be like a small, so it's something not like maybe a physical stamp or something, but something an authority or a license in a way, or a kind of okay, tick mark, okay, or we say some authorization that comes from the side of government in the lieu or in the face of job stamps, and these will be available for 1 day work at minimum wage. So the duration will be mentioned in the job stamp, and what minimum wage will be offered, that at least this amount of money has to be offered to any person performing this kind of job, would be mentioned in that particular job stamp. Then these job stamps would be distributed to approved public institutions. Like, I'll give you a small example. Like, there is a government school in any area. So there are employees who are working continuously for the school, but there is some kind of annual function that takes place. And for these particular 2 or 3 days wherein the function goes on, the labor requirements are increased by the school, right? So it may be for keeping the school clean, or it could be for, if there is a sports day, it could be for maintaining the fields or the tracks, running tracks, or for the maintaining the equipments of the playing area. So it could be any job that comes for a very small period of time. Now in such a scenario, this government school, if it has these job stamps, can utilize them by inquiring the related people who can be a useful resource in this particular job, and then they can hire them for that particular 1 day, 2 day, or 3 day job, and then they can pay them the minimum wage that has been mentioned as per the nature of job which has been mentioned in the job stamp. So I hope the idea of job stamp is clear, that in this way, for example, this particular school had been given 100 job stamps. So it could be that 10 job stamps were related to any work that was related to plumber, or then 20 were related to something that was for cleanliness, hygiene, and sanitation. Then 20 other were available for maybe any kind of a medical assistance or anything like that. So this will be like a ticket, or it will be like a small token that they will be able to use in exchange of the minimum wage that they would have to pay. So then the institutions would be free to use the stamps to hire labor for odd jobs and small projects, just as I mentioned, and the wages would be directly transferred to the account. So I hope that the idea of what has been proposed by the author is clear to you now. And independent placement agency will assign workers to the employer. So basically there will be simple portals or something, agencies, wherein the institutions or the government offices or institutions, be it anything, they can directly contact the agency discussing about the requirement for specific labor or specific kind of labor, and then they would be the middlemen for providing these labor. So let's see that what are the advantages of this system called Do It. Activate a multiplicity of potential workers. So many states have the chronic problem of dismal maintenance of public premises, and now it would be really feasible for the public authority to maintain these public premises, because now the laborers or the workers would be readily available, and they would be also might be having specific skills to do it, and can also be hired for small period of time. Then avoid the need for special staffs, because definitely for a long term or a permanent staff, you need to have good budget to pay them regularly and give them other services as well. But in this, you are only concerned with the time within which your work will be done, and after that you can let the person go off. Facilitate productive work, among others. Yes, for sure. Secure entitlement to minimum wages and other workers' benefits. Help impart training component in the scheme. So wherein a worker who is not very much trained in the first place, but still he can get an opportunity to get trained by working with the other trained and skilled workers. So basically it will be like on work training session for them as well. Like for example, a person who is not very skilled in the job of tailoring or in the job of handling the plumber stuff or something like that. So if he is working into the working along with someone who is an expert at this area, so he would also definitely get to learn, and that is why it will be very practical and easy for us to train the people in these odd jobs. So then the women variant of do it, basically it says that women can be given absolute priority as long as they are available. So the author here has proposed that this system of do it that he is proposing is something that would clearly give the first preference to the women. And if at all for any job any women is available, then definitely that job would be given to that woman. And if not, then only we'll move to the other male members, and that thus priority must be given for employing the women members. So then they can even run the placement agencies, and also it would facilitate women's involvement in the part-time basis. So basically it will also help us to raise the the participation of women in the labor force, because as compared to this, it has been also written that as compared to the national sample survey data of 2019, only 20% of the urban women from the age group of 15 to 59 spent time in employment and related activities, which means that the participation of women in the labor force of the entire nation is very less. And women may be more reluctant than men to participate in a scam. So basically it also says that there are also chances that even the corruption would be to a very minimal level, because women tend to get involved lesser into activities like scam, and thus a better productivity can be expected out of this system. So then it would also reinforce self-training feature of do it. So women in well-off households are likely to go for casual labor, unlikely to go for casual labor, and that is why the poorer women will be given a better chance to have an earning of their own. With this, let's discuss the second article for the day, which talks about investing in India's youth. So, India has the largest youth population in the world, and during the pandemic, over 320 million learners have been affected. Please remember that this is a global scenario, because the schools had been shut down, the learning programs had been shut down, various NGOs had to close up. So, over 320 million learners had been affected due to the pandemic, and more than 5 million have lost their jobs. So, in such a scenario, it is very important for us that we make our youth, that is the largest youth population that we have in the whole world. India is known to be as a young country in the current scenario. So it is very important that we raise the chances of employability of our youth, and we invest into the vocational training. So the evidence shows that many people develop 21st century skills on the job and from courses that focus on practical application of skills. So basically, many a times it has been noticed, and now it is a truth also to be accepted, that the people who are graduates, they do not tend to learn the practical skills in their degree or in their college life. Rather, the skills that are more important for being employed are learned either during the employment or any other kinds of vocational trainings that they take up. I'll give you a very simple examples for law as well. Like people who pursue law, so when they graduate, they have to take up the bar exam and stuff like that and everything, and that makes them eligible for litigation and other related activities. But not unless you have taken up the job of as a lawyer or practiced under some other lawyer or into any other law firm, you would not be able to understand the practical nitty-gritties which are attached to this profession. It could be framing of the of any, or drafting of any kind of contract or any agreement, or filing of a case, and other practical aspects which are very unlikely to be learned during the law school. So that is why the very activities, or the very qualities that make us employable in the field of law, are the ones which we learn only after practical experience, and not just by theoretical classes that we actually tend to attend in our college life. So that is why they say that the skills that are required for the employment, at least in the 21st century, are learned from the application of the skills in the practical sense. And thus, it can be used to gain specific skill sets and knowledge, technical and vocational education and training. Thus, the TVET, which we have also already we once discussed into detail about the TVET programs, And actually, the TVET programs have also been hampered significantly due to the COVID-19 regime. So the technical and vocational education and training, this program is very much essential to provide the technical know-how and the vocational, upper hand to the people, or education and training to the people who aspire to join any kinds of jobs. Initiates a national skill development policy. So the initiatives that have been taken are, like we had in 2009 national skill development policy, then Skill India mission, which actually aimed to turn India into a skill capital. The national education policy 2020 again provides for vocational training to 50% of the learners by 2025. But these are the things which are available on paper for sure, but this is a thing to be considered as to how much have we been practically able to achieve the goals and objectives of these policies. Then, according to the UNESCO report, that is the State of Education Report for India 2020, which has recently been released, so the facts that have come out are: it focuses on vocational education and training to ensure policy of effectively implemented, need for expanding evidence-based research, and TVET planning and delivery is useful for creating evidence behind the value of vocational education. So basically, it is reiterated the importance of the TVET programs and to develop the skill sets on the practical front of the people and other people looking out for jobs. With this, let's see what do we have for news and flash today. First, Rabindranath Tagore Literary Prize. Rajkamal Jha won the prize for The City and the Sea. So the name of the author as well as the name of the book has to be remembered, which is based on the December 2012 Nirbhaya rape and murder case. So other nominations included Amitabh Ghosh's Gun Island, Nirmala Govindarajan's Taboo, and Ranjit Hoskote's Jonaha Whale. So this Raj Kamal has actually won the prize for Rabindranath Tagore Literary Prize. Next, 2020 United Nations Investment Promotion Award has been given to Invest India, and it has, because it has been recognizing it as one of the outstanding achievements of the world's best practice investment promotion agencies. So you should remember the name of Invest India. Thirdly, Chief Executive Officer of the WHO Foundation. So Indian origin global health expert Anil Soni has been appointed as the first CEO of the foundation. So it was to address the world's most pressing global health challenges. So we should be, it's a matter of being, very proud that a person from Indian origin has been appointed the CEO of this prestigious foundation. Then, eco-friendly bridge. Ramnagar Forest Division in Nainital, Uttarakhand has built its first eco-bridge for reptiles and small mammals. It is basically to enhance wildlife connectivity. So basically these are high-end, high at a height. These are a kinds of bridge from which the reptiles and other mammals can cross, and thus without the traffic which goes through the area would not be able to disturb their habitat, and thus the movement would be made accident-free, and thus it would be very convenient for them as well. So this was all for today. We hope it was a good and informative session for you all. Thank you so much for staying tuned with LawSikho.